you can just book it for $120 an hour. Book it for $120 an hour and do everything you want. You've been giving everything away to customers for $100 goddamn dollars. It cost me more than that to turn the lights on. So having that expert coaching was what I needed to hear to look at my business differently. If I don't look at my business a certain way, then y'all ain't gonna look at it a certain way. So now we gotta rebrand, we gotta upgrade, we gotta elevate, we gotta do all that stuff internally so that I'm attracting the elevated customer, the customer that has money, the customer that's not gonna nickel and dime what the ask is. And I'm not saying that's the reality right now. I'm just saying that for a very long time, for 4.5 years, I was really looking at it as this little box that had everything that you could need for just $120. There's no value in that. The value comes in the experience that we're offering. If I'm being honest, that experience, my level of expertise when it comes to marketing and branding and telling a story is priceless. So I want to be able to share that with all of the customers, all of the business owners, all of the creatives that come to the space that don't know how to do that.
Hey you, welcome to Shades of Content, a show that teaches entrepreneurs how to effectively use content to market their business and stay content while doing it. I'm your host, Patrice, a wife, a mom of 3, and a 15-year public relations and marketing professional who decided to open a brick and mortar content studio 4 years ago. And I honestly haven't looked back since. Join me as I share my experiences and the experiences of other entrepreneurs who, like me, are navigating this maze of owning a business, running a family, and trying to stay sane and healthy while doing it. I'll tell you, it's an amazingly challenging journey, but I honestly wouldn't have it any other way. See you soon.
Okay, Shades of Content episode 78. Greetings, content mompreneurs. Welcome back to another episode of Shades of Content. I'm your host, Patrice Camo, wife, mom of 3, entrepreneur. I own Camp Space, which is a business that provides content experiences for amazing business owners just like you. We're actually in our space right now. This is the podcast studio that I gifted myself with in 2019, I think. I can't get 2019. It was for my birthday. But welcome back to Shades of Content. If you're new here, I'm so happy that you decided to listen. Shades of Content is the show that teaches millennial mompreneurs how to use content to market their business, but also how to stay content while living this hectic, amazing, sometimes scary life that we all are living. You know, it takes a lot to be a parent, but it also takes a lot to birth a business and have to watch that thing grow too. And when I tell y'all, all these episodes, y'all are going through the journey with me. I've been in business for almost 4.5 years. We turned 4 in late March of this year. And I don't think I've ever cried as much as it pertains to my business this year. I don't think, even though I have the accountant, I have the attorney, I have the people in place, the HR specialist to help me kind of figure things out. You know, as you go from worm to butterfly, that cocoon stage is just uncomfortable. And baby, your girl has been feeling all of the discomfort, but also all of the opportunities for learning, for growth, for expanding the network, for having conversations that you never thought you would have before. So y'all are just coming along with the journey, on the journey with me. I figure might as well keep podcasting about it. Just before we get into the episode, this is going to be a really, really good episode. We're going to talk all about rebranding. But before we do that, you guys know there's some things that I need you to do for me. First, I need you to rate and review the show. So if you are listening in whatever podcast platform you listen to, I think you can scroll down where it says rate, you can give it stars, and then where it says review, you can just write a quick little thing about why you listen to the show. You can also tell me what things you want me to do better. So rate and review the show. Also, if you look in the show notes, there's a little sentence that says a gift for you. Click that link. Answer the quick survey, and when you're done with that survey, you're gonna get a gift from me to you, and I hope it makes your day better. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel. So I talked about this a little bit in this episode 75. I'm vlogging, so you can watch all of these podcast episodes on YouTube, but I've also incorporated some vlogs. So my vlog series is called A Content Life. And it doesn't really talk much about business. It's about just my life as all the things that I just mentioned at the beginning of the episode. So it follows me through gender reveals for my sister and AAU tournaments with my son and vacations to Miami and, you know, just all the other parts of my life that matter that you probably will be able to relate to. So definitely check out that the YouTube page, and of course subscribe to the YouTube page, because why not, right? It doesn't cost you anything, okay? So let's get into this episode. Like I said earlier, we're gonna be talking all about rebranding, not just branding, but rebranding. Why are we talking about that? Because I am actually in the middle of a rebrand for my business. Camp Space. So I think people know this, maybe not, but I'm telling you, this business, I did all the branding, all the marketing, the logo, I did it all myself. The website, the color, I literally did it all myself. I have had graphic designers come in and help me. Shout out to Emil Barnes and a few others. So I've had people come in and help me create different things for the brand, but for the most part, I've done this all myself. And I've also done a lot of rebrands for my PR clients and for my, you know, the companies that I work. But this rebrand that I'm doing for my business camp will be the first time that I've ever actually been really thoughtful and gone through the entire process for my own effort, right? For like my own thing, which is this business. And while camp we pivoted in 2019, going from a co-work space to a content studio, I actually didn't do any rebranding or design updates. So the only thing that I did when we decided to go from co-work to content studio was take out that tagline. I think it was celebrate, convene, co-work. There was a little tagline, which you can see. I took that out. Literally just cropped it out of the logo, and I changed some of the website pages. So I took the co-work page off the website, and I tried to take co-work off of the website for SEO purposes. That was really the only rebranding that I did when I decided to pivot 3 years ago. The reason why that was the only thing that I did was because I didn't want, deciding to go from one type of business to another type of business was like a lot for people. Like, there's still people, honestly, that say to me, they call and be like, hi, are you guys accepting co-work members? We don't do that no more, player. But like, I didn't want there to be this big upheaval of what the brand was. So I said, we're just gonna change the services, but we're gonna leave the design the same, because I wanted people to understand it's still the same company. That was 3 years ago, darn near. We 4.5 years in, people know who Camp Space is. I can have conversations with people. I was at the Mom Friends a couple weeks back doing a vending table for my other venture, Black Girl Holidays, which will no longer exist after 2022, just putting that out there. But I was vending at that event to offload books, and I was just talking to people, and they were like, wait, Camp Space. Like, they had already known, they had heard of me. They didn't know that I owned it, but they had heard of the brand. So I've done the work, I think, to make this brand the name that I trademarked way back before it was even a business. I've done the work that I needed to do to make the name stand for itself. Now I can update what the brand looks like, right? Once we do this rebrand, I don't believe that will be confusing anybody, because it's gonna be a thoughtful process. But back then, we were still so new. I didn't wanna like change the look and feel and all of those things. So yeah, now is really the time to update this brand. And like I said, I'm updating it for a few reasons. The first one being that it's been 4.5 years. It's time. I think this rebrand will the test of time for this business. I don't really wanna touch any more rebrands after this. So, but companies rebrand. Like, I remember when Bravo got a new logo. This was around 2014, 2015. And I remember seeing them tease the new logo in like small little commercials, and I'll be like, what is that? That looks weird, I don't like it. But now that's the Bravo logo, right? Companies do it often, and there's a really thoughtful process behind it. So 4+ years in business is time. There are going to be some really amazing new product offerings that are elevated, and it's about much more than just booking a space. So we need to make sure that our branding matches the level of expertise, creativity, and the price point that these new service offerings will demand. I'm also doing a rebrand because Camp has to be seen as a leader in the content studio, content experience industry. I'm sure I've mentioned this on the show before. Since the pandemic, there have been a ton of content studios that have opened up because people realize that you can't do this shit in your house. You can't. My house is 10 minutes from where I am right now, and y'all have seen me record episodes. Episode 75 was recorded in my house. It's fine. It ain't giving what I wanted to give. So to have this space that I can come in and record and do all the content that I need is a beautiful thing. And everybody realized that when they were stuck in their house over the pandemic. So that's why these spaces have popped up, but they ain't been around as long as us, period. So we got to be the leader in the industry, and this rebrand, this revamp will further solidify that in the minds of our customers that we've been doing this, we ain't new to this, we true to this. But also, like, again, it's more than a space. I myself have 15, 16, 17 years at this point of branding, public relations, marketing strategy, communications expertise, and all of that now has to be weaved into what I'm doing here with this brick and mortar business. This rebrand is also because we need to attract a higher spend client. When I did the Brain Picker podcast with David Shands and Donnie, link is in the show notes, make sure you watch it, it's fire. Essentially, it was like, girl, you are hoeing out your space. Because I had always been like, you can just book it for $120 an hour. Book it for $120 an hour and do everything you want. Been giving everything away to customers for $100 goddamn dollars. It cost me more than that to turn the lights on. So having that expert coaching was what I needed to hear to look at my business differently. If I don't look at my business a certain way, then y'all ain't gonna look at it a certain way. So now we gotta rebrand, we gotta upgrade, we gotta elevate, we gotta do all that stuff internally so that I'm attracting the elevated customer, the customer that has money, the customer that's not gonna nickel and dime what the ask is. And I'm not saying that's the reality right now. I'm just saying that for a very long time, for 4.5 years, I was really looking at it as this little box that had everything that you could need for just $120. There's no value in that. The value comes in the experience that we're offering. If I'm being honest, that experience, my level of expertise when it comes to marketing and branding and telling a story is priceless. So I want to be able to share that with all of the customers, all of the business owners, all of the creatives that come to the space that don't know how to do that. Our customers know how to be the expert in whatever it is that they're the expert in. They're the expert chef. They're the expert coach. They're the expert dentist. But they are not the expert marketer, brander, storyteller, putting it all together person. That ain't them. That's me. That's what this business does. That's what my team, my creative directors, my videographers, my photographers, my graphic designers, that's what they do. And so we need to attract customers that are okay with investing in us taking care of all of that. So all they got to do is be great at what they do and take what we've given them and distribute it to their audience. And then finally, and last but definitely not least, the reason for this rebrand is because we're franchising. I mentioned that in episode 75. The business is franchising. We got to attract people who see Camp Space and immediately want to open their own. And I'm not sure that our brand does that now. Yeah, it does, because I've had people reach out to me already, but we got to take it up a notch. It's been 4 years, and 4 is a very important number to me. I see 444 all the time. It's just that number. This year specifically, it was our 4th year anniversary. It happened on the 4th day of the week on March 24th. There was just so many things. Our address is 4214. This is like my 4th baby. I know your business is not your baby, but if we're putting it in terms of things I take care of, it's the 4th thing that I take care of after my 3 kids. So, 4 means something. And so that's why like now is the time to make it happen. All right, guys. So this episode is not just about me talking about why I'm rebranding, but I wanted to give you some context on why rebranding was important. If you're thinking about rebranding your business, think about some of the reasons why I'm doing it for my business, and just kind of consider those things as you go through the process. Now, if you already decided to go on a rebrand, or if you're just working with vendors, period, to help you pull together what your brand looks like, I've assembled a list of questions that I want you guys to ask your vendors. These questions are legit questions that have come through my mind over the last month. Yes, it's taken me about 4 weeks to identify, reach out, receive proposals, and make the decision on who, what companies, what people I'm gonna put in place to make this rebrand happen. I'm not doing it myself. Your girl ain't doing it herself. I'm trusting the experts to create magic for my brand. I have the vision, they have the execution, right? So my first tip, this isn't a question, but my first tip is to always get 3 proposals. So if you are updating your website, you need to talk to 3 companies, 3 people, and you need to make sure that you've asked them all of the questions that I'll list in a few, right? So the step 1 is always getting 3 proposals. So let's say you're doing a website rebrand, you're updating the copy, and you need a marketing expert. Those are actually all the things I need. We're doing a brand revamp. We are working with a copywriter to really help us get our voice and figure out our audience persona and actually draft all the text for the website. And then I'm gonna also have a marketing expert to help push it out. I've gotten 3 proposals from each of those types of companies. And out of those 9 proposals, right, 3 proposals per industry, I go through them with a fine-tooth comb. I actually do have a 2002 brand revamp matrix. I'm using this matrix to put apples to apples, put all 3 of the vendors in each category in an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm marking yes, no, question, all the things, right? And actually there is a link to a brand revamp template that you can use on your own for vendor evaluation process. So click the link in the show notes so you can get access to that template too, to kind of help you be better at what you're doing at your search. Okay, so here are the 8 questions that I am asking every single vendor. Now, not every single, some of them are industry specific, but these are questions that you may not think about that are super important. And I would hate for you to go down the process, right? You find someone who does great work, you sign on, and then you didn't think about the question, and then you hit that roadblock during the process, and it can either extend the time that your product is ready, which could end up costing you. You could have an issue where you and the vendor are butting heads because you didn't ask the question, they didn't provide the answer. There was no communication, so you never knew it until you knew it. So I'm trying to save you any headaches that may come as you're going along this rebranding process.
Hey there. Are you a content mompreneur, or better yet, are you a content mompreneur? What does that mean? That means you're a mom who owns a business and is on a journey to seek contentment in your professional and personal life. If that fits you, because that is definitely me, then you need to get your Content Mompreneur checklist. Tap the link in the show notes to see exactly where you are in your journey of contentment. It's something that I am just really starting to hone in on and focus on, because the bottom line is we have to be able to find that level of peaceful satisfaction, peaceful happiness through all of our life changes. And I'm on a journey to find that for myself, and I actually want to help you find it too. So tap the link in the show notes to take your Content Mompreneur checklist, and then shoot me an email or a DM to let me know where you stand in all of that. Here's the rest of the episode.
So question number 1, ask your vendor to walk through their design or their creative process, okay? You need to know what this is gonna look like. A lot of the vendors that I'm working with, it's a 6 to 8 week commitment to make this work. And it's very easy for someone to say, give us 8 weeks, we'll get it done. No. Because sometimes what can happen is like you get to week 7 and they haven't did anything, but you don't have anything to measure it up against. So in your proposal, you should have a very clear timeline of what they're going to do and be able to expect from them at every stage in the process. So that's the first one. Ask them to walk through their process with you. The second question, ask them to send you past client work examples and testimonials, okay? Now, I have no problem with you being someone's first client, right? Like maybe you're the one that is gonna take a chance on them and they're using you as their portfolio. If that's the case, they should be giving you a deep discount, okay? But if you're working with a vendor that has worked with clients before, they should be able to immediately send you client work examples and testimonials. Now, some of them may come back to you and say that's confidential. If they're still working on the client work, then it is confidential. They can't share it with you. But if the work that they did is out in the open for the world to see, it's being used by their client, they should be able to send you links to that. And they should also have some testimonials. If they don't have those testimonials, like canned paragraphs of their work from other people that they work with, then you need to say to them, please connect me with someone that you worked with in the past. Or you could even go the extra mile and find their some of their clients on social media and reach out to them directly if you want to and ask them about their experience. You have the right to do that. So the second question, ask your vendor to send you past client examples and testimonials. Question number 3, ask them if that vendor can give you a discount on the services if you allow them to promote their business on your platform. I'll give you an example. When someone creates a website for you, or when you have a website, sometimes in the footer of that website, you'll see website by, and then it'll be the name of the company, and then you can click that company and go to their website. They're now essentially using your website as a marketing tool. So not only did they get paid to do the website, now they're getting free advertisement. So you came out your money to pay them, but now you've, in theory, come out of your pocket more because they're using your website to make money. You should get a discount for that. Or you should maybe get a referral bonus or something if someone says that they found their business through your website, right? So question number 3, ask the vendor if you can get a discount or some type of referral bonus or kickback by them promoting their business on your collateral. The 4th question, and this is a big one, this should have been number 1 if I'm keeping it a buck. Ask them, what is the process if they do not meet their deadline, okay? Now, if you don't meet your deadline as far as providing approvals, then they're gonna tell you what's gonna happen there. They're gonna either charge you more or they're gonna say we can no longer commit to the time frame. But typically, a vendor never tells you what they're going to do when they don't hold up their end of the bargain. I'm gonna give you an example. I had an accountant that I was working with, and for 3-4 months, they were not updating the books at all. I never asked them what happens when they don't do their job on their end. Now, when they don't update their books, my books, I can't see what's going on. I can't keep a track of how much I've spent. I can't see what my P&L is. I can't do anything. I can't plan for the future. But we didn't have that conversation. Thankfully, they were solid people and they gave me a full refund for the 4 months of services that I paid for. So it worked out. But you want to save yourself the headache and ask them up front, what happens if they don't meet their deadlines, if they don't meet their requirements? And you hold them to that, you have them put it in writing in the contract so everybody is covered, all right? So that's question 4, ask your vendor what happens when they don't meet their part of the bargain. The 5th question, this is really for a design specific vendor, okay? The question, does their design service include copywriting? If it does not, can they collaborate with a copywriter that you select? And what does that process look like? I am going through that right now because one of the companies that I'm thinking about for the website design, they do copywriting as well. But I found 2 really amazing copywriters. I want to pick one and work with them, and I'm just not sure how they can work together. So that is a very important question if you are going down this redesigning your website. And even if you're not redesigning, if you're just designing just off starting from scratch, ask them if they have copywriting services. If they do not, what does it look like for them to work with a specific copywriter that you hire? And just so you guys know, a copywriter is the person that drafts all of the things that your customer reads. So your copywriter is drafting the text for your website. They're drafting the social media text. They're drafting your email campaigns. I hate to say it. Not hate to, because I'm going to own it. I was my own copywriter for the last 4 years for this business. So everything that you read, your girl wrote it. I'm a great writer, but I'm hiring someone else to do that because we got to put a different lens on it. Anyway, so that was question 5. If you're a web designer, ask them if they offer copywriting. If not, see if they can collaborate with the copywriter that you hire, okay? Question number 6, how many rounds of edits are included in your package? And what happens if after those rounds of edits, it's still not right? Now, most vendors are going to put in their contract immediately 2 rounds of edits, 3 rounds of edits. But if it's not in the contract, you make sure you ask that. One thing that's never in the contract is what happens if they don't get it right. And that happens, like you might get draft 1, draft 2, and then still something ain't right. And usually they'll just charge you for additional rounds of edits, but there might be something that you told them to fix the first time and they didn't fix. So you got to make sure you're documenting everything via email. But that's the best way, I think. If they didn't fix something that they were supposed to fix in edit round 1, and now y'all pass edit 2 and it still ain't right, you shouldn't pay for that extra edit round, right? So have that conversation. Again, how many rounds of edits are included and what happens if they don't get it right within that allotted time. Next question, are you gonna be charged if you don't meet your approval deadline? So I'm putting it on you because we have to be accountable as well. Bottom line, as you go through this web brand revamp, while you're hiring vendors, you are still very responsible for this work, right? So yes, they're doing the execution part, but you're the visionary and you have to be tracking this just like they're essentially your employees at this time. Yes, they're contractors, but they're working for you. So you have to make sure they're doing their job, but you also got to make sure you're doing your job. So if they've said, hi Annie, this is the website draft 1, we need your approval and edits within 72 hours, you need to get it to them in 72 hours. Block out the time in your calendar and make it work, because you don't want to be the one to stop the process for making your shit better. Like, that's backwards. Have we all been there? 100%. But know that you're going to have to commit to this process just as much as you're expecting your vendors to commit to it. And as someone who has been the vendor for customers who've needed rebrands and all the things, I'm telling you, when I tell them I need them to select their photos and it's taking them 3 weeks, I'm like, yo, you're not serious about this. So I'm not serious about it, if I'm keeping it honest with you. So that question, ask your vendors if they're going to charge you if you don't hold up your end of the bargain as far as approvals and that kind of stuff. But more than that, decide to hold up your end of the bargain and get your vendor what they need. And then lastly, and this is a weird question. Sometimes I feel like wonky asking it, because I use my clients' content all the time, right, for marketing. However, you should be comfortable asking your vendor if you can opt out of them using your work to market their business, right? So maybe you don't want your business all over their website, all over their social media as work that they've done. Maybe you don't want that. Maybe you want to keep all of that stuff on the low. Now I'll tell you, if you do allow this company, your vendor, to use your work as a marketing tool, end of the day, it's just going to be more eyes on your business. So it's really probably a win-win. But if you're deciding that you don't want your business, your work, your IP used for them to market their business, that should be fine. And you need to be able to say, I want to opt out. Now I'll tell you, there's a photographer who's great. And I don't know if she still does this, and I'm not going to mention her name, but I have not worked with her. As great as she is, I chose to not have her do my children's newborn pictures, because if you work with her, you agree. You sign a release form saying that she has the right to use your marketing, to use your photos in her marketing. I don't want my babies on your page. If you're not paying me, I don't want you using the pictures that I paid you on your page to promote your business. And that's personal. Some people love it, but I did not want that. So I ain't work with her. I found another photographer that wasn't gonna put my baby's newborn pictures on their website. That's just kind of the other side of it. So ask your vendors if you can opt out of them marketing your business on their promotional pages. And again, that's just a question. That all depends on your preference. That's probably the one question that if you don't care about it, don't worry about it. But I do believe all the other questions are very, very, very important. And I hope it helps you as you go along your rebrand process. I want you to make sure you're following myself and my business. All the links to our pages are in the show notes. Rate and review the show. Share this with someone else, because this is bomb-ass free information. Y'all know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just talking out the side of my neck. These are things that I've experienced on both ends of the spectrum, and I'm going through it right now as I revamp this Camp Space brand that means so much to me. Always happy that you're here. Another episode that I am shooting myself. I'm not gonna edit it myself. I'm gonna send it over to my Fiverr editor so she can get that thing done. But I could edit it myself if I need to. I'm learning and it feels great. Share share this episode. I know I've said that already. Share this episode. I don't have a current event to talk about. I really honestly like to save my current events from when I have guests because like I like to hear their feedback. And I know that I also did not read a review. That's because I'm not getting the reviews from y'all. So once you start leaving your girl reviews and ratings, then I'll have more content to read and I'll have more people to shout out and all the things. So rate and review. Check out our YouTube page. Check out the vlogs. When I tell y'all, I feel so weird recording myself, and then when I go back to edit, I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this. But I did it, and I'm doing it. And here we are. So follow the journey of this revamp. I'm excited. I had a really good call before I recorded this episode, and I think it'll be really dope. I think that the camp community will really be proud and like just feel the excitement and the refreshness and all those things. And there are going to be more episodes about this revamp, rebranding process because like I said, as I go through things, y'all are going to go through it with me. And maybe this will be the series. This will be the first in a series of revamping my business brand. There we go. Just thought about that off top. So I'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. And thank you for tuning in. Holla.
All right, now, y'all, don't forget to connect with Shades of Content on Instagram at Shades of Content and with me, Patrice Camo, at Patrice Camo. And also be sure to rate this show, leave a review, and subscribe because that's actually the only way that we're going to grow. I'll see you next week.